If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you about it. It's free, which is amazing. And there are these really cool creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it's easy to be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts. And you get to make money with no minimum listenership, which is really cool. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started right away. Wellnesspreneurs, are you ready to stop side hustling and start making an income doing what you love? It's time to pull up a seat and align your third eye on the prize. Each week, we will have conversations with successful creatives in wellness, business, marketing, and more to uncover practical methods to take you from A to B. My name is Jessica Cross, and I am so excited to link arms with you and get started. Let's dive in. Hey guys, it's Jess, and welcome back to another episode of Third Eye on the Prize. I cannot wait to share with you this amazing episode and chat that I had with Erica Gregory. Erica is a mom, a coach, and the founder of Scout Creative Agency. She, in 2018, just after the birth of her second child, decided to quit her full-time job and launch her own business. She had previously worked in digital marketing for 7 years, doing everything from video production to social media management and blog writing. She also built her business with a baby on her lap, a toddler running around at her feet. And in 2021, she started teaching other women how to build their businesses regardless of their time constraints and their family situations. You're going to love her. There's so many wonderful gold nuggets that she shares, from everything from social media to quitting your full-time job and everything in between. I know that you're going to love her. I had so much fun chatting with her. Let's take a listen. Hey, Erica.
Hi.
It's so good to be here with you.
I'm so excited for this. I've been thinking about this for a few days now. Oh my gosh, what am I going to say? Am I going to sound okay? But I'm really excited. I can't wait to jump into all of this stuff because I could talk about all of this all day. So
yay! Oh my gosh. Well, I've been very much looking forward to chatting with you, and I'm just so inspired by the wonderful things that you're bringing into this world and your energy. So thanks so much for taking the time. It means a lot. I'm hoping that we can start a bit about your background and kind of how all of those lovely things brought you to where you are today.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's such a roundabout story, which is something that I want people to know. This isn't something that happened overnight. And I was one of those people who did not know what I wanted to do. I chose my college, actually. I chose the college I attended because they were going to let me walk onto their soccer team. What I was studying and what I was going to do afterward it did not cross my mind whatsoever. And it's funny because I ended up going through this really bad breakup in college, and I ended up transferring back to another school. It wasn't even soccer wasn't even a thing anymore. So it's such a mess. But anyway, I ended up getting my degree in communication, and I moved out of state to help my uncle, who is an entrepreneur, start a business. And I was the only employee. I was 22 years old. I had millions of questions, but I was kind of just thrown to the wolves and I'm to figure things out. And as much as that was such a stressful time in my life, I credit it to this whole idea of I'm a problem solver. And if there's a Google keyword box in front of me or whatever, I can look it up and figure it out. And I really, truly believe that. But so then I went and I met my now husband. We traveled a bit, and I ended up going to Indiana University and got a degree in journalism. And when I was there, I ended up getting an internship with the Indiana Pacers, the NBA team. And it was the coolest thing that has ever happened to me. And we were doing a lot of quick hit after the game videos in the locker room. So I was interviewing LeBron James and all these big names athletes. And I was who am I? And I was completely not getting paid for this either, but I would have done it for free. It was so cool. So I got a lot of like video experience with that, just handling like production wise, editing, and even being a little bit on camera and doing the interviewing. It was really a great experience. And it was actually the year that they went to, they took the Miami Heat to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it was like LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and the big three and everything. So it was really, really, it was a great season to be part of that. But afterward, I was like completely like, womp, womp, like nothing was happening. I wasn't finding any work. It was like the summer of, the summer of 2013. So I think like a lot of people were still feeling like the after effects of the recession. And I was just like in a bad mood. I was like bummed out and didn't know what I wanted to do, even though I had this great experience. So I ended up getting this really like crappy job at a print magazine, and they hired me to do a lot of their online digital stuff. But their entire strategy was, let's put everything that we have in the magazine online for free. And I was like, wait, how are you going to make people pay for the magazine if you're giving away the content for free online? And it was this like really bad, like I was just like frustrated all the time. And 6 months later, they had budget cuts. And since I was low man, I got nixed. And I remember crying in my shower that night, like, I'm failing at life. Like I was miserable and I was terrified. I had no money. I mean, I was making under $30,000 a year, and I had tons of student loan debt. And I was just like, what am I going to do? At that point, I had no choice. I went, and I was in Indianapolis at the time, and I ended up moving back home with my mom and dad. And my now husband, we were dating at the time, he had lived in Indianapolis with me, but we had decided once I lost my job that we didn't want to be there. So we were like, let's spend the summer figuring it out. He moved back to where we live now, Charlottesville, where he grew up, and I was up in New York with my parents, not New York City, the country part of New York. And it was actually then that summer that I was working for my dad, who's also an entrepreneur, and I started a blog. And I was like just blogging about like everything, my experience, everything. And I really like fell in love with just like digital writing and content and all of it, and Instagram and all of that stuff. But I was so hard on myself. I'm like, I'm 20 whatever years old, 24, 25, and I'm living at home with my parents and working for my dad. Like, I'm a failure. Oh, if only I had known, like if only I had just like gone for it then. Like, I still beat myself up for it, but I think I needed somebody to validate me. And like I needed an employer to validate me, somebody other than my family. So I finally got a job in Charlottesville where my boyfriend, now husband, is. And I remember they offered me the job, and it was like $55,000 a year. And I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. Like, I'm gonna make so much money. And I was so thrilled. So it was great. The job was actually for video production, and it was using my journalism background. I was doing like patient story testimonial on video for a hospital. And it was great. I was always like, I was out filming, I was working with the production crew, and oh, it was really fun. And we ended up getting that job, ended up giving us a lot. Like I was able to, got married, bought a new car, we bought a house, and we had our first kid all within like the first 2 years of that job. It was really great. And then when I became a mom, it was like everything changed. So I had my son in May of 2016. And I remember going back to work and being like, thank God, like I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Like, oh my gosh. And so I was really grateful I had work, and I like poured my heart into it. But after a year, I was like, I'm still making the same amount of money. I'm getting no recognition for the hard work I'm putting in. And I have to put my son into daycare every single day. And at a year old, I was starting to really like love being a mom. it was like, I don't want you to go to daycare and let them teach you the ABCs. I don't want to teach you the ABCs. Like, it was really like, I remember having that thought. And it was like, what could I do? What can I do? What can I do? And it was really then that things started to churn in my head. And I was really like, after like people did, I guess I said nobody recognized me, but I was like a very celebrated employee. Cause I did work my ass off. I don't know if I can swear, but I did work my butt off. I worked so hard. And so I was like, okay, like I'm finally getting recognized. And I went up to like my manager and I had this whole plan. I was like, okay, I'm doing video, but we need a video department. And I like pitched this. I worked so hard on this pitch. And basically she looked at me and was like, that's never going to happen. And I was like, wait, what? Why? Like, really, why? And like, she couldn't give me an answer that was good enough for me. And I was like, okay, like I gotta get out of here. And it was just like this thought process, the corporate stuff. Like, no, we can't change, we can't do that just because we've never done that before. And the paperwork would take too long. So I was like, whatever. So I started doing like social media as a side hustle and doing it for like my uncle's business and some other family friends. And it started being like a thing. And I was like, cool, this is like something, but I never really like took it anywhere. It was just like something I did on the side. And then I got pregnant with my daughter in 2018 and she was born in November. And this summer I was pregnant with her. I walked into my manager's office and I just started crying. And I was like, and I was so embarrassed for it, but I literally just, she was like a year or two older than me. She had a young kid. So I felt like she could relate. And, I was just like, I am so unhappy. And she was like, well, maybe this just isn't what you're supposed to be doing. And like, she did her best as like, she was my manager. Like, she wasn't my friend. She wasn't my mom friend or anything. She was my manager. And she was like this poor pregnant woman is coming to me bawling. And I was like, I think at that point I was like, I need to spend more time with my son. And she basically said there's nothing we can do. And I was like, 40 hours a week is just so like random. Why do I have to be here from 8 to 5? I don't know. And I started questioning all of it. So I started listening to podcasts like Jenna Kutcher and things like that. And it started being like, wait, other people are doing this. Other women are doing this. They're creating a life outside of the corporate world. I can do that. And I told myself, I told no one else, but I said, like, it was July. My daughter was born in November. I said, once she's born, I'm not coming back to work. And she was born November 23rd. And I remember this feeling of just like peace coming over me of just like, it's done. Like, it's all done. It's all in the back. It's all in the past. And I still didn't quit. I still didn't tell my husband I was quitting. It wasn't until January when I got a letter from my job saying, hey, you're coming back on February 14th, right? When I was like, hey, like, what if I made my own business? And my husband was like, okay. And I called my dad because he's owned his own business for 40 years. And I was like, Dad, what do you think about this? What if I quit my job and I did this? And he was like, yeah, go for it. And I was just like, why does everybody else think I can do it? Like, everybody else is so like easy to do it. And I've been like questioning myself for a year now. And I went into my boss on January 31st, 2019, and I quit. And I gave myself 6 months. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I knew exactly how much money I needed to make to be able to support my family. Cause I was, it's like I cut my income in half at that point. Mm-hmm. Well, our family's income, and I had a newborn baby, and I was the one holding the health insurance. And it was a lot. It was a lot of changes, but I just knew it was right. It's like looking back on it now, I don't know what overcame me. I don't know what what it was, but I just knew, and I quit my job and I went full steam ahead. So long story, but it had, I mean, there was no way to skip around it because it really, everything kind of played into how I got there. And I'm really grateful for that job that I ended up quitting because it did validate me and given me more confidence in what I was doing. And it taught me a lot and it gave me a big network of people. But ultimately I was just never meant to work for somebody else.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, your story is so incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Uh, I love that you started with, it wasn't overnight, because we often, I think, look at success with that lens. It's like, oh, well, oh, she's just lucky. It just happened immediately. Like, that could never be for me. I would never have that. But it's often so varied, and the path is so windy on your way that it's not as easy as it seems. And I'm glad that you told the whole story,
Wow.
because that's what made you who you are today and brought you into your business. And it's so good. I cannot believe you worked for the Pacers, and all, like, that whole story is incredible. I thank you for sharing that, because
Yeah.
it's so amazing. So okay, so now it's 2019, hubby's on board, dad says go get it, girl, and you're like, okay, here I am. So Scout Creative was born. Tell me about your business and how that all went.
Yeah, I launched Scout Creative in February of 2019, and I literally, what my first plan of action was, I'm going to email everybody I've ever met and tell them what I'm doing. And I really didn't even have a plan. Like, I was like, I'm going to just like say I'm a full service digital marketing agency and see what comes my way, whether it's social media or video production, because I was still really intertwined and friends with the video production team that I was working with at my previous job. And so it was like, I'll take whatever I can get. And it was really like, that was my strategy. It was like, let's just tell everybody. And slowly but surely, I started getting jobs. Like, they would bring me on as a freelance producer for a commercial, or write some creative for some advertising for another company. And I was asked to build a couple of WordPress sites. And then I did social media for some people. It was like slowly like piecing these things together. And I was charging like really crappy money, but I was like, it's money, like it's coming. And I think it took me 4 or 5 months to match my previous monthly take home pay. That was my goal. But it wasn't recurring income. And I was like, this is a hustle. Like, this project-based stuff is a hustle. So I was asked by one of my old colleagues. She sat on a board of one of the nonprofits in town to do, and I had emailed her, and she had asked me if I could do social media promotion for a big event that they were having for their nonprofit, completely pro bono. And I was like, yep, I'm going to say yes to everything. And I ended up doing that. They sold out their event for the first time because of the social media work that we did. And I, through that free job that I got, I ended up getting 2 of my biggest contracts to date. And I still work with these clients. So I was like, I'm doing it. I think I signed on with as a subcontractor for an agency to do a huge social media campaign for the Coast Guard. And I was like, who am I? Like, what is happening? But it was just like all of these little things like started coming to me, and it was just like, yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, I took plan B off the table. Like, I quit my job and I was like, I have to do this. And it was like validation, like little at a time. And then I got this big Coast Guard contract, and I was like, yes. And I remember doing the math for 2020, like looking at the contracts I had signed, and it was like $5,000 more than what I was making in my 9 to 5. And I was like, wow, like I'm doing it. It was really exciting. So yeah, so I started doing more social media because I felt like that was how I was going to get the recurring income. I would sign like clients on for contracts and get, month over month. And that way I knew I had the money coming in. And that whole business plan really changed things for me, because I was able to say no to like the one-off projects because I had enough money coming in. So yeah, that first year, that 2019, was like a lot of just hustle. And a lot of people like say like, oh, I don't know about the hustle. I don't know about the hustle. But it's like, if I were to give you any advice, if you're starting out, it would be to say yes to everything, because you can't really create a business without knowing what opportunity is out there. Like, if I had said, no, I'm only doing video production, I would have lost out on so much opportunity. If I had said no to that pro bono job, I would have never gotten those 2 huge contracts. Like, I just say yes. If money is coming your way, like, be open to receive it. And don't be afraid that it doesn't like fit this perfectly manicured business that you thought you were going to launch, because that's not how things are going to that's not how things are going to grow. You can't like say no to something that when you're still like needing more, if that makes sense, whether it's filling your time or filling your bank account. Like, how can you say no? Like, and that was such a lesson for me. It was like, wow, I signed on for this like completely free pro bono job, and through that I got huge work from it. So I just was like, yes, 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 yes. And then 2020 came, and everything happened with COVID, and my kids were home full time, and so I was still in this yes mode, yes mode, yes mode. And by June, I was so burnt out. I was making great money, but I was burnt out. And that whole last summer, I was just kind of in like, let's just go through the motions, go through the motions. Like, I was so unmotivated and uninspired. And I think a lot of people were. I was definitely going through depression, but like, I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything in my work. It was just like, okay, it's done. Okay, it's done. And then in September, I was like, I need a change. So I started this 75 hard challenge, which I don't know if you've heard it, but
I have. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like basically like do these 5 things every day for 75 days. And it was like working out and drinking water and reading and stuff like that. And it was like these little habits every day. And I was like, wow, by the end of that, I felt great. I was strong. I was motivated. I was inspired. I was like, if I can do that, that was hard. If I can do that, I can do other things. And so then I was like, what do I really want out of it? Was like the end, it was holidays, got through the holidays. I'm like, what do I really want out of 2021? And I was like, I really want to stop doing this like trading time for money thing. Like, I want to start, doing more passive income projects and teaching and inspiring other people to start their business like I have, because I'm just like, I'm so freaking normal. Like, if I can do it, anybody can. I have 2 little kids at home. I am like, just like this. I struggle with depression. Like, I'm very messy. I'm like, I struggle with execution. I'm just like, I'm not like type A. So if I can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? I've been let go of jobs. I've been like embarrassed in front of my colleagues, like all of these things that you would think that like would really tear somebody down, which has. But so it's like, if I can overcome that, you can overcome that. And so that was what I wanted for 2021. I wanted to start telling other people that they can do it. And it doesn't matter what kind of business you want to start, you can do it, and you can make more money and have more freedom. And that was another thing, is I just, it's like, I started this business so I could be home with my kids and have more flexibility with them. And I wasn't having that, and I wasn't enjoying the time I did have with them. So I needed to refocus on that. And so this year it's been more about teaching and educating and consulting and less about doing the work. And it's changed everything. My business has almost doubled in its income for the year. And I'm still growing, and it's amazing to see just what a mindset shift will do. So.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What a journey. Like, that is incredible. Thank you for your generosity and just this peek behind the curtain in your business, because I think it's so easy to look at someone's success and just assume that they're, though they're better than me, like I'm not worthy of it. Like struggle with anxiety or depression, or I've been laid off, and like all this stuff about not being worthy. And that's something I struggle with personally. It's just like, who am I to be doing this? Like, who am I to have a podcast? Who am I to like start my own business? But I think it's something we all work with, and it probably doesn't ever really go away. Like, it's just kind of permeating the back of your mind. And it's like when you do challenges like 75 hard and things that push you past that resistance, and that, that little inkling in the back of your mind is like, you can't do this. It's like, yes, I can. Just reinforcing that. It's amazing. And I love what you said about having to say yes, so you can kind of filter through the things as they come through to get a clear picture of what your business is. You're saying, if you, like you said, if you would have said no to that pro bono project, where you're like, well, I'm not getting paid, so I'm not doing that, you would have never had those clients, those huge contracts that you weren't like gifted basically from that experience. Like,
Yeah,
so good.
it's so amazing to look back and like be like, wait, what? Like, and to like figure out the path and the journey that you've gone through. And I think about this a lot with like heartbreak or like a breakup. When you're like 10 years past it, or like even like a year past it, you can see why that didn't work out. Like, I know I wasn't supposed to be with him because I met, whoever, but,
Yeah.
And it's the same in business too. But, like a lot of people just like will think that failure is like this, like ultimate, like give up and quit. And, there's like the whole Thomas Edison thing where, he it's really like, it's so corny to like, to quote him, but he's like, I didn't fail. I didn't fail. I just learned 99 ways not to make a light bulb. And it's like, if you flip failure on its head and you think, wow, that I learned from that, then it's a greater learning lesson than success is. Like, if you're just always gifted success or handed success without earning it or learning from it, like, then you're just kind of, it's not fun. It's truly true that the bad days make the good days better. Like, because you have to have that something to compare it to. So yeah, well, I'm such a quote person, like a lyric person, so I'm always looking for that stuff. But it's crazy. Like, I look back at 2019 and it's completely a blur, because I was like, who am I? But I was like, I have to be uncomfortable because I have to grow this. Like, I have no other option. Failure for me was like not making money. It can't happen. I have to. I have a new baby. I have a son. I have, we have a mortgage and all this stuff. So I was like, now I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm back in my comfort zone a little bit. Like, I don't know if I could step back out, but I'm sure I could if I had to. But yeah, like, oh my gosh, that's such a thing I want new entrepreneurs to know, is like, just say yes. Like, you never know who is watching or listening. And that's crazy. Like, you never know that your next big client could be watching your reel, or you're watching your Instagram stories, and like slowly just, learning about you and being like, I want to work with them and I want to pay them to work. And so it's like, why not put yourself out there if that opportunity is like knocking at your door? You don't know. So it's kind of exciting. It sounds really creepy now that I hear myself saying it, but it's not creepy. It's exciting. It's exciting because these people want to pay you to do a service for them, or a product, or whatever you're selling. Like, so you got to put yourself out there. You have to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, 100%. And I That's hilarious what you just said. It's not creepy because we pay people. We don't pay businesses. We build relationships. It's not sales. I mean, that's where it comes from, of course, and that's the transaction, but it's like I'm working with you, Erica. Like, I'm not working with your business like that. And that's what social media does. And it's so beautiful because it almost like removes that first layer of barrier where, people are looking for a service. It's like, well, I already know Erica.
Yeah.
So I'll just reach out to her, and it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it's true. And that's exactly what I say to people about getting on social media or building a business of any kind. It's like, you're not building a business. People can learn how to use social media from anybody out there. What I will give you is me, and I'll give you I'll give you transparency. You'll learn about my failures. Like, I'm very honest, and like my whole thing is building relationships. Like, if you want to go viral, I'm not your girl. I'll tell you that right now. If you want to go viral and get 50,000 new followers overnight, I don't, first of all, think that's possible. Maybe it is. I don't know. But second of all, I am not going to teach you that. I don't know those skills. I don't have those skill sets. What I have and I believe in is relationship building. And I always tell this story about my dad. And it's so funny because he's been an entrepreneur now for 40 years. He's been in the same business. He's like literally bought this business out of high school and has been building it for 40 years now. And, he's very successful. He had a great childhood. He's, done wonderful things with it. But he does not have a website. He does not have branding. He does not have social media. He doesn't have any of that. He has built his business solely on relationships and word of mouth. And he continues to grow because that's what truly matters in business. It's not about what color your Instagram grid is. I will tell you this, your Instagram grid, and if it's like pretty, has absolutely no correlation to the amount of money that you're going to make. None. So stop wasting your time on it. It means nothing. If it's stressing you out, you can let go. You have my permission. So there's your lesson right there. Technology in general is supposed to help us and supposed to support us and make things easier to scale. So there is a use for it. And I'm not telling you that there's not, but if you really think about business and social media has been around 10, 15 years. A business has existed since the beginning of time in some form. And so we're still in its infancy. We're still in the infancy of social media and what it can do for business, which is exciting in a way, but it's also like kind of freeing. Like we don't need to worry about that. I always tell people this too when they come to me and they're like, I'm struggling. I don't know. I, as a business owner and a social media expert, as I brand myself as, sold absolutely $0 through my website, through my Instagram, or through my Facebook the first year and a half of my business. It was not like, there was absolutely not how I was making money. I was putting myself out there. I was going to networking events. I was doing pro bono projects. I was talking to people that I hadn't talked to in 5 years. I was telling people to tell people what I was doing. That's how it ended up that's how I ended up getting paid to do what I was doing. And then it was like, okay, now I have some confidence and I can start focusing on this content creation. My husband's in the garage, sorry. I don't want him to bang the door. Okay. So, but I don't like it. That's now I can focus on the content creation and the automation and the things like that and build my business and be able to scale it. But when I'm just starting out, I need to be proactive about things. I need to talk about things. I need to tell people what I'm doing. I need to do more than just put something on Facebook one time or go on Instagram stories and talk about it one time. I need to follow up. I need to send emails. I need to email. I spent hours of my time going on LinkedIn and looking at people who are they were hiring for full-time employees and emailing them and saying, hey, did you know you could hire me for a fraction of this cost and you could get better results? Like I would,
That's
I
so
was
good.
hustling. And I really like it's so until you get that like validation or like that foundation of your business, it's okay to let like the strategy of the Instagram and the Facebook go. Um, and like I was saying, technology is supposed to be like a support thing for you. So if you're stressed out because you don't understand Instagram or you don't understand Facebook or whatever, don't do it. It's supposed to make things easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's making your life or making your business harder, let go. It's okay. Move on. Like, and then figure out what your goal today is to make money. That's what I say. So what is the first thing that you need to do to make money? And most of the time it's putting something out there as an offer. And you can put an offer out there. You can stand at the grocery store and offer somebody something and get paid for it.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with being online. It has nothing to do with having a pretty website. Like you can stand in your grocery store, you can go to the like side of the road and offer people to wash their car and get paid to do it. It has nothing to do with what how many followers you have. So I can't stress that enough though. It's technology, social media, and all of that is meant to support your business. And that's where I can help you do things. But if you're thinking that you can get an Instagram account and start making money, it's a little bit more than that. You have to build trust and you have to build relationships, and people aren't going to just like see you one time and like buy from you. You have to think about yourself as a consumer too. Like you're not buying from random companies. You have to be like engaged with them, see their ad a few times, like look at their photos, like what's their brand, how does their branding make you feel? Then maybe you'll visit their website and you'll get a feel for their pricing structure and like all of that stuff. And then you'll be like, okay, I'm going to buy. But it's very rarely do we make a purchase just based on like, oh, that's a pretty Instagram feed. I mean, if ever, right? Like if ever. So yeah, I can't stress that enough. Like if when we're talking about social media, we're talking about relationship building, and it doesn't take it takes more than one time to build a relationship. It takes usually a few weeks, several months maybe before somebody goes, okay, I'm going to buy from you.
Yeah.
But then the thing is once they buy from you, usually they'll buy from you again and again because they do trust you, and then you give them a quality product and they're a lifelong customer. But you kind of have to be in it for the long game. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for the permission to let go of the pretty feed. And it's so stressful. I think we see these like gorgeously curated IGs and they're just, oh, they're so pretty. I could never do that. That must take so much time. Like, I don't even know what I would post. Like, it's just like, okay, first of all, it's not supposed to make it harder, like you said. Second of all, just freaking post something. Like, it's okay. Like, just to get started. Like, it's so valuable and important just to know, like, you got to start somewhere.
mm-hmm.
And it takes way more than that one post. Like your whole life and job and income are not riding on that one single post or story or reel or whatever the heck you're doing, because people have to come back more than once to like, I think there's a study that says something like people need 7 touches to your offer before they will actually buy. And so you're basically priming your audience. And IG is a way to do that. It's a tool in your kit, or Facebook or whatever you're using. But, I just like to use and I think maybe you do too, like you like Instagram. And so that's what I talk about too, but yeah. it's one of the tools in your kit.
Yeah. You have to think about Instagram as like an old school TV ad or a radio ad. Like it's the same thing. The exciting part about Instagram or Facebook or any social media for that matter is that one, it's free, and two, you get to be in front of your audience at a massive amount. You don't have to pay for a 30-second ad that may air one time in a 30-minute show, then hope that your target audience is seeing it. You get to get on stories, and that's really like one of the best tools out there. You get to be on stories and talk to your audience every single day. And that's going to speed up that it's called the rule of sevens in marketing, but that's going to speed it up. That's going to speed up the journey of taking your some passive audience member into a paying customer, because you're going to show up and build trust with them over time. So instead of having them wait, maybe they hear you on the radio, maybe they see you on TV, maybe they see a billboard, like all these old school traditional marketing tools, now you get to literally show up every day, morning, noon, and night if you want to. So that's exciting. And that's why it's so important. And that's why there's so much growth potential, because you get to own this media and this marketing platform and advertise for yourself every day, all day, and reach your target audience on top of that. You're not just like hoping and praying. And then on top of that, you also get real-time analytics and insights to see how your posts are performing or how your stories are performing, so that if they kind of bomb, you don't have to wait for another ad cycle to launch something. You can literally go the next day and like fix it or post something else and see if that one works. And you get to do that in real time. So that's why Instagram is so beneficial, and Facebook, but it's because it's real time and it's all the time. And that's also why it can be really overwhelming, and trying to figure it out. But if we're talking about how to use it beneficially for our business, that's like unbeatable and completely unprecedented in the history of marketing. So there's so much strategy that goes on behind it too. It's not just about posting, and I call it post and pray. We're not just like we're being strategic, and we're thinking about content and looking at our analytics and figuring out what our audience is engaging with versus what they are not engaging with, and looking what gets saved and what gets shared and who's commenting and what are they commenting and what time of day. And so that's all the stuff that I teach, and it all works together. There is not one thing. Like if you post at 8 a.m. but you use no hashtags and your content's crap, you're not going to do great, right? But if you have like great content, but you're not using hashtags and you post at 3 a.m, like you're not doing, like it all kind of works together. And so that's what I teach, is this strategy behind using this platform to build your business and find your audience and convert them into paying customers.
I love that. There's just so much value in this free tool, basically, to reach your customers, and you get real-time feedback from them. And that's all it is. And it's kind of, for me at least, it's kind of exciting because you're getting to like test things. It's like, okay, let's try this. Like, let's try this time of day. Like, what time is my customer or my client on? Well, post a few things. Yeah. See what happens.
I think that's what's so exciting about being an entrepreneur or business owner in general. Like going back to my 9-to-5 job, like I was sold this bill of goods that like, oh, in this job, like you get to try things. And like rarely, if ever, did I ever get to try new things and like fail and then learn from it. But like now I get to do whatever I want, act a fool on reels if I want to, or, add value where I want to, and try exactly what you're saying, try new things and tested the waters with my audience. And if it works, it works. Great. I'll do more of it. If it doesn't work, okay, well, I won't do more of it. Like that's what's so amazing about this. And I don't have to spend $1 trying it either. I can just try it. Like I have this free platform that I get to see exactly who's watching and when. And that is so valuable as a business owner, but also just being able to be creative and, test the waters. Oh my gosh, it's invaluable. And I think that's what I want to pitch to people like about being a business owner is like, oh my gosh, I was always so like embarrassed about this, about being the person that would put out work even if it was mediocre. Like I would just be like, well, it's done, like that was more or less how I was like, it's done. It's out there. And it wasn't sloppy or bad. It was good, but it wasn't perfect. It was rarely perfect. And I would always feel very embarrassed or like, I need to try harder. I need to be better. It needs to be better. It needs to be better. But now as my own business owner, what I'm thinking and feeling, and we were talking about this before, is like, I get these instincts. I get these like inspired feelings and I get to act on them right away. And they are rarely perfect. I mean, never perfect, but they're out there. And I am getting paid for these ideas, right? I'm like, I was talking to you before. I was sitting on the treadmill the other day and I was thinking about like, what do I want to do this summer and what do people need? Like, what does my audience need? And this whole idea came to me and I was just like, okay. And I got my notepad out on my phone and I was just blah, 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 blah. I wrote it all out. And when I got home, I didn't even shower from the gym. I just like got to work on my sales page and like put it on my Instagram. I think I put it on my Instagram while I was on the treadmill still. Like, I'm like, I'm doing this. If you're interested, DM me. Like I had no sales page or nothing.
Amazing.
I didn't even have like a name for it figured out yet. I was just like, this is my gut feeling telling me I should go for it. Within 2 or 3 days, I had 2 purchases. Like, I think that if there's a lesson to be learned as a business owner, it's like, listen to your gut and don't overthink it because it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect. And so, there's this validation almost that it's like, you're allowed to be not me. I don't want to be mediocre, but like your stuff or like the stuff that you are doing, like your content, it's okay if it's like misspelled, not, but like mediocre, messy. It's okay. It's okay to figure it out as you go. And if anything, like the things that I have like overthought and like waited on have been complete flunks or failures because I have overthought it. And so I've learned more and more to like really listen to my gut. And when I'm feeling that inspiration to just go for it. Another example of that is like my membership. I had no intention of ever launching a membership, but I was having this conversation and it came out of frustration where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling like I'm getting bombarded at every angle. I'm getting emails, DMs, Facebook messages, everything. People asking me questions about things. And I'm like, I don't know how to field this. And I'm getting stressed out. And so I was just like, maybe I just have a Facebook group where I answer these questions in one place and they pay to be a part of it. And I launched that within 24 hours. I had 15 people signed up for it. Amazing. And now we have over 30 members. So I really I love that idea of like hearing people like, oh, I have an idea, I'm going to act. Don't think about it. Just do it. The other day I was I was on a live training and somebody was like, where do I go first with my offer? And I was like, have you been sitting on this offer? Like, you've just been sitting on this idea. How long? And you've been thinking about, well, what do I do? Do I post it on Facebook or do I put it on Instagram or do I send it to my email list? I was like, do all of it. Why are you not screaming your offer to the roof, like on the rooftops? Like, tell people about it because you're not going to get paid until it's out there. And then, you'll be surprised at how little people care about the photo that you included or the branding or any of the misspellings, the grammar. If people care about the grammar, you're not my people. I love you. Thank you for being out there. We all need people looking at grammar, but you're not, maybe you just don't want to work with me. That's okay. But I'm kidding. But it doesn't, none of that matters. If you have value to add, put it out there. I can't stress it enough. You all have a gift. And if you are feeling like a gut feeling, that is the universe telling you, go do it. And I think you would be really surprised at the return that you get on that. Just that, okay, I'm going to do it. Jump in. It's so exciting and terrifying, but it's always the best feeling afterward.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm feeling just so inspired. Just by listening, just talking with you. Thank you so much. So many gems. I love how you said it's like you're not making money if you're not putting an offer out there. And these, thoughts like where do I put my offer? Who do I tell it to? Like, what picture do I use? What's the copy say? Like, what should I call it? Oh, I don't know. And those perpetuate procrastination, I think. And for me, I think maybe we're similar in this way. It's like the more I procrastinate on something, the more I overthink it, and the lower the energy of the offer. Like, it's almost palatable. You can really tell the difference between something that's like inspired and you're like, I'm just putting it out there, come on people, I'm ready for you, versus like, well, I sat on this for 3 months and I perfected the copy 50 times, but here you go. And then it's like crickets.
It's so true. And like, it's, oh my goodness, I can think of like half a dozen people right now, like that I just like, you can feel energy, like you can feel the energy on wherever you see them. If you're reading their email, like you can feel it. And I would rather buy from somebody who is like, hey, I couldn't fall asleep last night because I had this really brilliant idea. I'm still trying to figure out the details of it, but what do you think? I'd rather be like, I'm on it. Like, I'm in with this than this like very like perfection. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like that. I'm all about the passion and excitement. And I'm all about people like going for it, because I feel like if I hadn't gone for it, if I hadn't taken that risk, I wouldn't be where I am. And I want to just touch on something that you said. Like, you said we're not making money, or I said, and then you repeated it. But you're not making money if your offer isn't out there. And like, I think there's also this thing, especially with women and women in business, that it's like talking about money is like yucky, and we don't, maybe it's yucky and like there's some stigma attached to it, or maybe we just think we're not worthy of making money, or maybe like there's something negative attached to money. And I've been working with like a one-on-one business coach about my money mindset. Mm-hmm. And she said something to me that I just repeat to myself: money is neutral. Money is it's just something, it's a necessity that we need, right? We need it to eat, to live, to drive in our car, like all of these things. It's something that we need. If we have children, we need money to bring them to the doctor, all of these things. Like, so money isn't bad or good. If you're good and you have money, then you'll do good things with money. If you're bad and you have money, you'll do bad things with money. It's just, we get this, but we have this like negativity that we surround ourselves with around money. And I kind of feel like an imposter talking about this, because I still struggle with my money mindset. But it's important to think about it as that way, because it is neutral and it's okay to make money. And when we're talking about building a business, like, isn't that really the end game at the, like, isn't it all about making money? Like, maybe there's other things like freedom of time or freedom of creativity, or being able to follow your passion. That's all true. But at the end of the day, like, I want to make a lot of money doing that, because I want to be able to touch as many lives as I can and inspire them. But B, I want to have the money to be able to spend the time doing things that I love. Because if I'm full and I'm happy and I'm inspired because I'm doing things that I love doing and spending time with my family, then I can give more. And that's what I want to do. Like, so it's all like very cyclical, and it's all attached to this. So it's okay to like tell yourself, I'm going to put the offer out there and I'm going to make money because of it, because then you get validation that it's something people will pay for, and you get validation that they want to pay you to do it. So it's, I really think that it's such an important thing to really like think about, why do you have negative thoughts about money? And why do I feel weird about celebrating, successes in my business that are related to money? And there's like a lot of work to be done with that around female entrepreneurs. So I just like hope that this like starts a conversation about that. But I want to tell you, like, it's totally okay to make money. It's I have so many, like, I want some of the things that I want to do with money have nothing to do with me, like, or the things I want to buy. It's like, I want to send my kids to college one day and not have them burdened with student loans.
Yeah.
Like, that has been something that has been, part of my adult life. And I don't want that for my kids. And that's okay. Like, that is such a, like, oh my God, if I can do that, like, I would feel like the best mom ever. But
Yeah.
there's things like that have nothing to do with, me. But if in the meantime I can also do what I love and make money, like, I'm in. So, and I could talk about that all day, but there's also like going back to my 9 to 5 job and like getting this $55,000 a year salary. It's like, oh my God, that was life changing at the time. But I worked there 5 years and I made, maybe at the end 60,000. So I was like $1,000 raise every year. Whereas in 2 years, I've doubled that. So
Amazing.
it's like, oh my God, there's so much flexibility and freedom that comes with working for yourself. And all you have to do is just go for it, put it out there, and you'd be amazed at how the universe just responds and gives it back and gives you validation that that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many things that you said. I'm just like throwing my hands up. Amen. It's so good. And just, thanks for saying too, that it's something you're still working with yourself, because it's like, it's a constant process to tell ourselves a new story, especially about money. I think everybody's got a money story, be it, if you think about your first memory of money, like some people have really bad memories and some not so good, but it's like, if you can kind of like, oh, okay, that's where I'm moving from, and remember that it's just a resource. It's just a resource to move through the world. And as you said, bad people with money will do bad things. Good people with money will do good things.
Yeah.
And the thing that you said about sending your kids to college, like, not only are you going to feel amazing, those kids are going to feel amazing, and their money story when they're moving out into the world is going to be different, and it just ripples and ripples and ripples. Like, that's so powerful.
Yes. Yeah. It's so true. It's this like generational thing that we're trying to change. And as much as like I want to make money, I also don't want to work my day away. I'm tired of attaching like work with money too. And I think that I'm at this place in my business and my life where I want more time and less work. And that's okay for me to say too. Like I want to be able to touch people's lives and help them achieve their goals as well. But I also want to just like spend time with my husband and, like I was saying, it's like, it's all about being fulfilled in yourself and doing the things that you love. And that way you can be able to give more. So it's really like there's a lot of like introspection or introspective thought and personal development that goes down along with being an entrepreneur. It's amazing how like once you decide to jump in, like and you up level one part of your life, like how other things will kind of meet that new baseline. Like if you like I go to the gym every day. I eat really clean. Like my health has up leveled. My parenting has up leveled because I'm trying to be. I say it's up leveled. I'm trying. It's hard. They're little. They're toddlers. They drive me crazy sometimes. But it's like, but I'm more patient with them and I'm more present with them and I'm a better wife and a better, daughter and all of these things because I started paying attention. And like when I first started my job and I quit, or when I first started my business, I quit my job, I had to like really start looking at my finances. And like before it was like all passive. It was like every 2 weeks I knew I got a paycheck. But now it's like I have to pay attention and see what's going out and what's coming in and where is it all going and what are we really like overspending on? Where can we save? And honestly, it was like once you like pay attention to that, it's like it grounds you and it opens up this whole like it actually gives you more space and like more freedom and flexibility because you're aware. And that's like the same thing with with habits. Like I really highly recommend anyone read Atomic Habits by
Mm,
James Clear.
so good.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I like drooled over that book because it was all about like, if you're a creative person, like setting up a schedule every day has nothing to do with like lack of spontaneity or lack of creativity. It's like, if you set up a schedule and those become habits, then you actually clear up space to do the creative stuff, because the things that are like non-negotiables are just done, and you
Mhm.
set aside the time for them. You haven't been like, you haven't sat on your couch for 2 hours. Oh, I should go to the gym. I should go to the gym. It's like, no, just wake up and go. It's second nature. And now you have those 2 hours that you would waste on the couch to do other things. So highly recommend reading that book. It's such a game changer in terms of like the way that you think about scheduling and things like that. Cause I was always like, oh, I'm spontaneous. I'm a creator. Like I don't need I don't need a schedule, but it's really changed my productivity in ways that I never thought would happen. So I'm going on a tangent now, but these are just some life lessons that I've learned as an entrepreneur in the last couple of years that I just like would love to pass along to somebody. Is like, get in the routine. Routine is huge. It's huge for babies and it's huge for entrepreneurs. So get in a routine, take care of your body, and then like make sure that you're having like a good work-life balance, because being an entrepreneur too it can be addicting to like work all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that can be as equally unhealthy. You don't have to. You can actually, it's okay. Like I work less now. I'm more productive,
Mm,
but I don't work 40 hours a week, you
yeah.
know? So there's a lot of stuff, but being an entrepreneur is like, it's like a whole lifestyle change for sure. And it's really, there's a lot of personal development work that is just like so fulfilling to look into.
Mm. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I just love everything that you had to say. It's like you said, it's just this whole lifestyle shift.
Yeah.
It's not modeled for us in a lot of ways. It just, as this like societal culture obviously could be different too, based on like your family, how that was modeled. But the 40-hour work week model, is based in manufacturing and
Yeah.
the industrial age. Like, okay, so I now sit at a desk for 40 hours. Like, how does that correlate? How does that encompass when I'm most creative during the day?
Yeah.
And there's just so many things that kind of go by the wayside when you're able to step into your own space and your own business and figure out when you're productive. And what's most important is like, I've got to go to the gym the first part of my day, and then I'm able to make space for everything else. So those are just so generous and really, really amazing to share with people that are, like me, like just stepping into this journey. And I know a lot of the people out there that are listening are feeling so like pumped and like fired up.
Good. That's
All
my
of your Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. So you have some really cool things coming up.
yeah.
I'd love to hear about it. And of course, we'll share links with
Yeah.
everybody too. So tell us about it.
So this summer I'm doing what I'm calling the summer workshop series. I know, very innovative name, but this was the thing that was born on the treadmill.
Amazing.
And my goal here is 3 90-minute workshops, one each month, June, July, and August, to get you to a place where your online business has the foundation, where you can earn $5,000 recurring month over month. And I know that if you got to that, a lot of people, if you got to that threshold in your business, you would be able to quit your day job. And that's my goal. I'm doing it this summer because I have a lot of teachers who are like, I don't want to go back to the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's born out of a lot of the stresses from COVID this last year, which
Sure.
my mom's a teacher, my best friend's a teacher. Like my heart is just goes out to you. You're like, oh my God, I could never do what you do. But so my goal with these 3 workshops is to give you the foundation to get to that threshold, that 5K recurring, and learn the strategies to build your business online. So that workshop series is, well, you buy each individual class for $100, or you can buy the bundle for all 3 classes for $250. And yeah, that's like such a value bomb. Like, oh my gosh, I'm giving you everything that I learned in my first 2 years of business, like just giving it to you for $250. Like, if there was anything I could do and go back, I would take some classes from other people, because I always thought I had to do it myself, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Like, problem solving is a good thing, but now I'm at this place where I'm like, I want to learn from the people who've already done it. So I want to give you my knowledge and all of the lessons that I've learned. So that's called the Summer Workshop Series. And we're doing, the first one is called Marketing Your Business Online. So we're going to talk about like building your website, your social media, branding, all of that stuff, like the real tech, like how do we do it kind of thing. Then the one in July, the second one is called 5 Steps to 5K. And I'm going to give you like the exact strategies I have for making your first 5K and then doing it month over month. And then in August, we're going to talk about content creation and how to create content that converts. So, I want you to get to a place where people are DMing you and being like, how do I work with you? And I'm going to teach you exactly how to create that content so that people are like blowing you up and wanting to pay you to work with you. So that's what's coming up. I also have my monthly membership. It's called Open for Business. And I am running, well, right now, founding member price is $47. And that ends on the Monday, May 31st, because I'm upping the price to $67. So if you want to get in at founding member, you'd be grandfathered in forever at that price, which
amazing.
That's crazy. But that was like my beta thing. Like I was like, okay. And now people are like into it. So I'm going to up my price and I'm okay with that. But we do things like monthly challenges. I'm doing a goal setting workshop with them tonight. I do mini trainings pretty much every week. And then I host a Q&A session every week. So you have access to me and all of the questions you have about tech and social media and online business. So that's a really awesome thing. And then I also have some other like pre-recorded courses that you can check out. I have one on starting up your social media for business. So it's like basic social media 101. And then I also have a course on how to make reels, which is only $20. And honestly, it walks you right through how to make a reel, how to promote it, and how to get like in front of thousands of people on Instagram.
Amazing.
I've had almost 100 people take that course, and I have one of my students who took that course a reel has over 100,000 views on it.
Oh my gosh. From a $20 course.
A $20 course. So it's
insane.
Like, I want to take credit for it, but she's also awesome. So, but it's like, that's the potential of reels right there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff. It's all on my website. You can check it out. It's ericagregory.com. And I have all of my offers right there. And if you just want to if you have any questions and about how to work with me or whatever, you can find me on Instagram. It's at Erica J. Gregory, and Erica's with a C. Or you can email me at erica@scoutcreativeagency.com.
Well, I have a feeling that you're about to get a bunch of DMs and some emails from people that are listening, because this conversation was incredible. I personally got so much from it, and your heart and your beautiful energy is just absolutely radiating right now. So I just want to thank you so much.
I want to thank you. This is my first podcast interview, and I feel so lucky to have been asked, and I am so excited to have been able to talk to you today. So,
oh my gosh. Well, I would have thought you'd done this a million times. You seem like a pro.
I just like to talk.
Me too. So we're perfect for each other. Okay, cool. We'll include all the links and we'll get this up really soon. And I'm so thrilled to have spent this time with you. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening to Third Eye on the Prize. Got an idea or something to share with Jessica? DM her on Instagram at @jessicacross.co and let her know what's on your mind. We're so grateful for your support, especially as a small woman-led business. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time.
you.